Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you please speak into the microphone a little bit? Put it a little closer to you. Would you please state your name and spell your name? David Sloan, DavidSloan. Mr. Sloan, how old are you? 26. Are you a black disciple? I am. Are you a member of O-Block? I am. Do you have information about O-Block and its members? I do. Is that what you're here to talk about? Yes. Are black disciples referred to as BDs for short? Yeah. Have you ever lived in Parkway Gardens? I have before. Where's Parkway Gardens located? 64th King Drive. South side of Chicago? Yes. How old were you when you started living in Parkway Gardens? My mom first moved there like 2008, but I didn't start hanging out till a few years later. And when was that? About 2012, 13, 2011. So sometime between 2011 and 2013? Yeah. Did you become a BD while you were living in Parkway Gardens or hanging out in Parkway Gardens? I actually was before. When did you become a black disciple? Around the same time, 2009, 10. How old were you in 2009 or 2010 when you became a black disciple? Probably like 13 or 14. Do you consider yourself a member of O-Block even though you became a BD somewhere else? Yeah. What is O-Block? What do you mean by that? What is it? Is there any significance to the name O-Block? I'm sorry. How did the name O-Block come about? From somebody dying. A guy named OD died and they named it after him. Do you know who that is? I do. Is that someone you know personally or have met? Yeah. I'm showing you what's marked as Government Exhibit 564. Have you seen the person depicted in Government Exhibit 564 before? Yeah. Who is that? OD. OD Perry? Yeah. Does this picture fairly and accurately depict the person you knew to be OD Perry? Government Exhibit 564? Yeah. Your Honor, at this time, I move to admit Government Exhibit 564 into evidence. It's submitted. Permission to publish? Yes. We've talked about how O-Block got the name. You said it was named after someone. Is Mr. Perry still living? No. What happened to him? He got killed. Is there an understanding among O-Block members as to who killed O.D. Perry? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Is there an understanding among O-Block members as to who killed O.D. Perry? Objection, Foundation. Let's briefly go on the sidebar. Okay, sustained, but you can ask questions about Foundation. Mr. Sloan, do you know who Jakira Barnes is? I do. Who is that? K.I. Who's K.I. in significance to you being a member of O-Block? An op. Is she alive? No. Do you know who killed her? I'm not sure, but I've heard rumors. Judge, we can't hear him back here also. Okay. Sir, please speak into the microphone. He answered the last question. Was she an op? Because she was from the other side. What's the other side? STL. Did members of O-Block want to kill Jakira Barnes when she was living? Objection, same objection, and objection to grouping them all as a group. Which particular individuals did what particular things? Sustained, but you can ask questions about Foundation. Do you know when O.D. Perry was killed? August of 2011. Did members of O-Block retaliate in any way for Mr. Perry being killed? Judge, same objection as to the members of O-Block. And foundation judge, basis of knowledge. Let's go to the sidebar, please. Mr. Sloan, let me fast forward a bit and I'll come back to this topic. So do members of O-Block from 2011, 12, 13 through, let's say, 2020 to 2021, did members of O-Block, including yourself, get shot at by opposing gang members? Judge, I'm going to object to members of O-Block. Who was shot at by whom, when, etc. Not grouping everybody as a group. That hasn't been established. Sustained. Have you ever been shot at by an opposing gang member? I have. What did you do after you got shot at by an opposing gang member? Retaliated. Did you go talk to other members of O-Block about it? Yes. Objection, foundation, when, where, who? Sustain. But you can ask questions about foundation. When were you shot at by an opposing gang member? It's been multiple times. I can't tell you when. About how many times? More than a few. So let's talk about the first time. Did you go talk to somebody about it? Yeah. Objection, judge. At least some idea of when. In the universe of when this occurred the first time. Sustain. But you can ask about that. So, was it between 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2020? Yeah. And when you say more than a few times, is it more than 5? Yeah. More than 10? I'm not sure. Have you ever shot at an opposing gang member? I have. Did you do anything? Did you report the fact that you shot at an opposing gang member to anyone? I did. When you were shot at on numerous occasions, did you report the fact that you were shot at to anyone? Yeah. Why did you do that? So my people could know what's going on. Who is your people? I'm sorry, I can't hear the witness over here. I don't know if others are having the same problems. Okay, sir, please speak into the microphone. When you said, so your people can know what's going on, who were you referring to? Members of O-Block. Was that a part of O-Block? Part of the rules that you were supposed to let people know when you had been shot at? Objection, Judge, Foundation. In 2011, 2008, 2016. Was that a part of the rules in 2011? Yeah. Was that a part of the rules in 2012? Yeah. How about 2013? 2014? Yeah. 2015? 2016? 2017? 2018? Yeah. 2019? 2020? 2021? Okay. So, was it a part of the rules in between 2011 and 2021 to let members of O-Block know when you had been shot at? Yeah. Was it a part of the rules to let members of O-Block in between 2011 and 2021 know that you had shot at opposing gang members? Judge, may we have a sidebar? Yes. All right. We're back, Mr. Sloan. So we're going to get a little bit more specific. Have you ever talked to people about O.D. Perry being murdered? Yeah, we talked. Have you ever talked to anybody who lived in Parkway Gardens about it? Yeah. Who are some of the people you talked to about O.D. Perry's murder? I mean, really just, I'm not going to say everybody, but I mean a lot of them. A lot of who? O-Block members. You ever had a conversation with Charles Liggins about O.D. Perry's murder? No. You ever had a conversation with Marcus Smart about O.D. Perry's murder? No. You ever had a conversation with Christopher Thomas about it? No. Who are some of the people? You ever had a conversation with Carlos Orford about it? that's in this courtroom? Yep. No, no one that's in this courtroom. Who did you talk about it, if you know some names? C-Thing, Little Corey, DQ, just to name a few. Those people you named, those are O-Block members? Yeah. Have you ever talked about who murdered O.D. Perry at a meeting? No. Have you ever talked about who murdered O.D. Perry at a remembrance for O.D. Perry? No. Do you remember O.D. Perry's murder or remember him in any way in O-Block? I'm sorry, what's the last part you said? In O-Block, do you commemorate him in any way? What do you mean by commemorate? Do you do anything in his honor? No. Do you do things on his birthday? Yeah. What do you do? We celebrate. In what way? Get together with everybody, kick it, smoke, drink. Do you do anything on the day that he was murdered? No. What's STL? Set of GDs on St. Lawrence. And where is that in relation to Parkway Gardens? Down the street. Are those opposing gang members? Yeah. By the way, we talked about you, just said that STL is a set of GDs. Is O-Block affiliated with any border gang organization? I don't understand. Is it a set of BDs? Yeah. What do you call opposing gang members? Ops. Is that short for opposition? Yeah. Is STL walking distance from O-Block? Yeah. About how far? About 3-4 blocks. You ever been shot at by an STL member? Yeah. I want to change gears a little bit, and I'll come back to ask you some questions about O-Block more generally. Mr. Sloan, have you received immunity prior to testifying here today? I did. Did you understand that means nothing you say to this jury concerning your activity as a member of O-Block can be used against you, but only if you tell the truth? Yeah. Is that what you're here to do? Yeah. Do you understand that your grant of immunity only relates to your activity as a member of O-Block and the testimony you're going to provide in this case? Yeah. Prior to today, have you been convicted of some crimes? Yeah. Some felonies? Yeah. Was one of them for burglary? Is what? Was that offense in approximately May of 2020? Yeah. In connection with that offense, did you provide a fake name to law enforcement? I did. Were you sentenced to 3 years in prison as a result? Yeah. Did you get out early on parole? Is that yes? Yes. Did you have to go back to prison for about 6 months in 2021 while you were on parole? Yes. For violating the terms of your parole? Yes. I want to ask you about another one. Is another felony conviction for receiving or possessing a stolen vehicle? Yes. Did that happen in about November of 2016? Yeah. Were you ultimately sentenced to 3 years in prison for that offense? Yeah. All right. I want to ask you about another one. Was one for selling drugs or possessing drugs in North Dakota in about June of 2016? Yeah. And were you sentenced to about 343 days in jail as a result? Yeah. Did you get in trouble while you were on probation for that case? I did. Did you possess drugs and provide some false information to police? I did. Were you sentenced to about 60 days in jail as a result of that? Yeah. Have you received compensation from the FBI for providing information to law enforcement in this case? Yeah. Have you received $21,515? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to come back to what I was asking you about before discussing Mr. O.D. Perry. What was O-Block called before O.D. Perry was murdered? Wick City. How do you spell Wick City? W-I-C-C-I-T-Y. Was there a point in time when in between O.D. Perry being murdered and in between the name being Wick City, O-Block was called something different? Yeah. What was that? Keita World. Who's Keita? Female from the area. Now, is it still technically called Keita World even though you call it O-Block? Technically. Can you explain to the jury and to me what that means when you say something is still technically Keita World even though everybody calls it O-Block now? I'm sorry, you said what? You wanted me to do what? Just tell us what that means in your own words, how it is still technically Keita World when everybody calls it O-Block now. I mean, I don't really know how to put that, but it's just... Judge, I'm sorry, again. We can't hear him back here. Sir, if you could please speak directly into the microphone, and you can move it up or down or pull it closer to you if that would be helpful. You said you don't really know how to explain that? No, I don't. Okay. Do you still live in Parkway Gardens? No. When did you move away from Parkway Gardens? About 2018, 19. Were you still spending time in Parkway Gardens in 2020 and 2021? Yeah. Were you spending time around other O-Block members during that time? Yeah. And was there a period of time when you were away and in custody? I didn't hear you, I'm sorry. Was there a period of time when you were away from O-Block and in custody? Yeah. Was that along the lines of what you just discussed earlier? Some criminal history stuff? Yeah. And when in particular were you in custody from approximately the end of May 2020 to March of 2021? Yeah, I was. Or roughly February 2021. It was March. And again, from approximately June 2021 to December of January 2022? Yeah. Were you talking when you were in jail to people who you would consider to be O-Block members on the phone? Not for real, just probably my 2 people. Were you still getting reports about what was going on the outside? Yeah. In 2020 and 2021, while you were in jail, did you still have friends who spent time in Parkway Gardens? Yeah. Other O-Block members? Yeah. Could you explain to us, just in your own words, what's the relationship like between O-Block and the Border Black Disciples organization? And let me tell you what I mean by that. Is O-Block independent of the broader BD organization? Is O-Block like under the broader BD umbrella? What's the status? I still don't understand what you're saying. Yeah. So does O-Block recognize any sort of leadership outside of O-Block? No. O-Block is pretty independent? Yeah. O-Block is like its own thing? Yeah. Even though historically it's associated with the BDs? Yeah. Besides the BDs, is there anybody else who is kind of there present in Parkway Gardens? I didn't hear you. Besides BDs, Black Disciples, are there any other gang members or gangs in Parkway Gardens? No. So just O-Block, Black Disciples. Yeah. Let me ask you some questions, and I want to take this back in the day, so back to 2011, 2012, 2013, when you were, I think you said, about 14 years old. When you became an O-Block member, were there older people who you would consider to be older O-Block members? Yeah. Who were some of the older members when you became a part of O-Block? T-Roy, Big A. Judge, I'm sorry, we can't hear that at all. Sir, please speak into the microphone. T-Roy, Big A, Boss Top, S. I'm sorry, Judge T-Roy, and the second name was? Sorry, sir. Can you please just repeat that last answer? T-Roy, Big A, Boss Top, BJ, just to name a few. Okay. And T-Roy, is that spelled T-R-O-Y? Yeah. Do some people call T-Roy Troy? Yeah. So you mentioned Big A, and you mentioned BJ and Boss Top. Yeah. You know someone named E-Dog? I do. Who is that? A O-Block member. Was he an older member when you became an O-Block member? Yeah. You know somebody named Duke? I do. Was he an older O-Block member when you became a member? Yeah. Can we unpublish? I'm showing you what's been marked as Government Exhibit 541. Do you see Government Exhibit 541 in front of you? Yeah, I do. Do you recognize the person depicted in Government Exhibit 541? Yeah. Who is that? BJ. And I'm going to show you a couple of pictures, okay? I'm showing you what's marked as Government Exhibit 557. Have you seen the person depicted in Government Exhibit 557 before? Yeah. Who is that? Duke. Showing you the person, showing you what's marked as Government Exhibit 559. Have you seen the person depicted in Government Exhibit 559 before? Yeah. Who is that? Boss Top. Showing you what's marked as Government Exhibit 547. Have you seen the person depicted in Government Exhibit 547 before? Yeah. Who is that? E-Dog. How about the person depicted in Government Exhibit 563? Do you know who that is? I do. Who is that? T-Roy. So do these pictures that I just showed you, Government Exhibit 541, 557, 559, 547, and 563, fairly and accurately depict the people you know to be BJ, Duke, Boss Top, E-Dog, and T-Roy? Yes. Your Honor, at this time, I move to admit Government Exhibits 541, 557, 559, 547, and 563 into evidence. They're admitted. Permission to publish? Yes. I'm showing you and the jury what's admitted now as Government Exhibit 541. Who is it that we're looking at in Government Exhibit 541? BJ. Do you see anything that you recognize on BJ's neck? Yeah. And what is that? O-Block tattoo. O-Block tattoo. Now I'm showing you what's submitted as Government Exhibit 557. Who is this we're looking at? Duke. Who are we looking at in 559? Boss Top. How about in 547? E-Dog. And in 563? T-Roy. Is T-Roy still living? No. Did he die of natural causes? No. You said what now? No. How did he die? He was killed. I want to ask you some questions about O-Block more generally right now. Is there a leadership structure or inner circle within O-Block? Objection. Foundation. At what point? I'll act. Overruled. Okay. Between 2011 and 2021, was there a leadership structure or hierarchy in O-Block? Yeah. Okay. In 2020 and in 2021, were you close to people who were a part of O-Block leadership? Yeah. Who would you consider to be a part of O-Block leadership during that time? The guys you just showed besides him. Besides T-Roy. Are there other people who were a part of O-Block leadership that you know or recognize and just weren't close to? No. So, in 2020, would you say that someone named Davon Bennett? Do you know someone named Davon Bennett? I do. I'll come back and I'll show you his picture in a moment. But who is Davon Bennett? King Von. Is he a member of O-Block? He is. In 2020, would you say that Davon Bennett was a part of O-Block leadership? Yeah. Is there anybody else you can think of that might have been a part of leadership that haven't been talked about in 2020? No. Do you know somebody, we might have talked about this in passing, named C Murder? I'm sorry. C Murder. Do you know somebody named C Murder? Yeah. You know that person's real name? Charles. Was that someone you would have considered in 2020 to be part of O-Block leadership? Yeah. Who were you close to or are you close to that were a part of the people that we just talked about in being part of O-Block leadership? You say who I am close to? Uh-huh. I'm not close to any one of them. Were there people that you talked to more than others? I'm sorry? Were there people that you talked to among that group that we've been talking about? Were there people that you talked to more than others? Yeah. Who? Probably just BJ. Would you see BJ around when you were in O-Block? Yeah. Do any of the people that we've been talking about just now, so BJ, Duke, Boss Top, E-Dog, King Von, C Murder, would any of those people issue orders for the rest of O-Block members in 2020 that you observed? I think I was locked up in 2020. How about from 2013 to 2021? Yeah. What kind of orders? As in, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I think the question was, as in, so were there things that they told you to do? Me personally? Or other members of O-Block that you're aware of? Yeah. What sort of things? Objection, foundation. Overruled. You can answer. Go slide. And what do you mean when you say go slide? Shoot at the house. Do the people who you consider to be the leadership of O-Block, so some of these names were just being talked about, do they have meetings? I didn't hear you. Yeah. Do those people that we've been talking about, those names, do they have meetings or organized meetings? Yeah. Who is invited to those meetings? The killers, drug dealers. So people who are not killers or drug dealers will be excluded from those meetings? Yeah. Have you ever been to a meeting? Yeah. More than one? Yeah. How often would you say that in between 2011 to 2021, how often would you say that meetings were held? Like once a week, once a month, once a quarter? Probably a couple times a month. Generally speaking, where would meetings be held? An apartment. And what sort of thing would be discussed in meetings, generally speaking? Everything that's going on. For example, all the events that took place, who did what and who's going to do what. When you say who did what or who's going to do what, could you tell us what you mean? Like if something happened within, like if the ops slid, anything like that, sliding on them, stuff like that. And you're saying that if opposing gang members had shot at y'all, that the topic of discussion would be retaliating? Objection, leading. Overruled. You can answer. Yeah. Anything else discussed at meetings? Judge, I hate to do this again. Can we get a foundation? We don't know if it was at the meetings because he said 2019 and 2020, and the witness said he was locked up in 2020. Okay, you can ask foundation. Mr. Sloan, did you just tell us a moment ago that you had been to meetings before? Yeah. Alright, so did you go to meetings in, let's just say, 2015? Yeah. Did you go to meetings in 2016? Uh-huh. Did you go to meetings in 2017? Yeah. Did you go to meetings in 2018? No. How about 2020? No. 2021? No. When is the last time you think you've been to a meeting? Probably before I went to the joint. So sometime in 2018? Yeah. Coming back to what other sorts of things were discussed in meetings from, let's just say, 15, 16, 17, and 18. Killings, drugs, like drug distributions, and passing out guns. That's about it. So I want to take some of these things in turn, and I may ask you some more questions about some of those things a little bit later on. Are there any decisions that were made at meetings that you observed? Yeah. What kind of decisions? Who's going? Can you say the question again? Yeah. What kind of decisions were made at meetings? Basically, who was going to do what? Who was going to slide? Who was going to sell this? Stuff like that. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last answer. Who was going to do what? Sell. What are you talking about when you say sell? Drugs. Are violations something that were discussed in meetings? Yeah. What's a violation? When you do something you're not supposed to do, you get violated for it. What kind of things can get you a violation? Stealing, doing something and not reporting it back, not paying dues. When you say doing something and then not reporting it back, what are you talking about? As in sliding on somebody, robbing somebody, anything that can cause somebody to retaliate. Why would it be important to report back if you were to go slide on ops or go rob somebody? So everybody could know what's going on, and if something do happen, they know where it came from. What's the punishment for a violation? Just probably like, Judge, again, I'm sorry. He cannot be heard back here. Sir, if I could just ask you, please, to speak up. Can you repeat the question? What's the punishment for a violation? Probably like 15 seconds or 30 seconds or something. 15 or 30 seconds of what? You getting beat up. Are there grades of violation? In other words, some punishment is more serious than other punishment? I don't think so. What's pumpkin head? It's when you get violated so bad, your head swole, like a pumpkin. Judge, we can't hear. You get violated. Sir, I'm sorry to ask again, but please do speak up. Otherwise, everyone needs to be able to hear. So sorry, if you could please just repeat the last answer. A pumpkin head is when you get violated so bad that your head swell up like a pumpkin. Is that worse than a regular violation? Yeah. Your Honor, could we have a sidebar? Yes.